Ready for takeoff. Today, we're going on a deep dive through the history of aviation.
We've got blueprints, historical accounts, even some wild stuff on modern aircraft.
We're basically flight geeks for the next few minutes, unearthing the coolest bits for ya.
And you know, most people know the basics, the Wright brothers and all.
But have you ever thought about what flying machines looked like before we had engines?
Or like how they even get those early contraptions off the ground.
Exactly. That's what we're diving into.
The thing is, this dream of flying, it goes way, way back.
Oh, I bet. Like Icarus and all those myths.
Yeah, but even further back, we're talking Leonardo da Vinci in the 15th century sketching out flying machines.
Wait, Da Vinci? The artist, dude.
Yep, that's him. And those paintings, not just imagination, he had some real ideas about flight.
So those crazy wing things could have actually flown.
Not really. They were never built.
Why not? Were they just too out there for the time?
Well, imagine trying to power a giant flapping wing with, like, just human muscle.
Yeah, good point. I can barely flap my arms for a minute straight.
Right. Da Vinci was a genius, but even he couldn't overcome the limitations of what they had back then.
Okay, so no flapping our way into the sky. So how'd those early daredevils actually get up there?
Think less muscle, more hot air.
Hot air. Like balloons.
Exactly. Late 18th century, those were the first manned flights.
Wow, really?
Yeah. The Montgolfier brothers, they were the ones with hot air balloons. And then there were even hydrogen balloons.
Hydrogen, is that super flammable?
Yeah, pretty risky. But can you imagine that feeling? Floating freely above the earth for the first time?
Man, it would be terrifying and exhilarating at the same time.
Right. It must felt like landing on another planet.
I can see why people got hooked on flying, even back then.
It's like this need we have to push boundaries, you know, explore the unknown.
Definitely. And that drive for exploration,
Yeah.
that's what led to gliders, right?
Yep. In the 19th century, guys like Sir George Cayley and Otto Lilienthal, they were obsessed with figuring out wings and air currents.
Weren't those pretty dangerous, too?
For sure. Think of them as, like, the original test pilots. They were constantly collecting data, figuring out what worked, what didn't.
So even crashes were part of the learning process.
Absolutely. Every failure was a step closer to understanding how to fly. They paved the way for what came next.
Which brings us to the Wright brothers. Everyone was trying to figure out powered flight, but they were the ones who cracked the code. What set them apart?
They were incredibly systematic about it. They built their own wind tunnel to test wing designs, collected tons of data, really analyzed the forces involved in flight.
So it wasn't just about building a machine, it was about understanding the science behind it.
Exactly. It was that combination of scientific rigor and passion that led to that first successful flight in 1903.
And that moment changed everything. The sky wasn't the limit anymore. So what happened next? Did aviation just take off from there?
Oh, absolutely. The 20th century was just an explosion of innovation.
Like what? Give me the highlights.
Well, the biggest thing was the jet engine. It shrank travel times like crazy, made the world feel much smaller.
Right. Going from those slow, early flights to crossing continents in a few hours?
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
It totally changed how we see the world.
And it's not just about speed, right?
Yeah.
Commercial airlines made travel accessible to, well, everyone, not just the super rich.
Totally. Connecting people and cultures all over the globe.
The impact on globalization must have been huge.
No doubt about it. And of course, there's the military side of things, too. Not something to celebrate, obviously, but it pushed aviation tech forward in a big way.
Right. A bit of a double-edged sword there. So much innovation, though.
Right.
Where are we headed next? It feels like we're on the brink of another major shift in aviation.
You're not wrong. Think about it. Supersonic jets, drones delivering our packages, experimental aircraft pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's almost too much to wrap my head around.
It's incredible. And the pace of change is only getting faster. Think sustainable fuels, autonomous flight, even space tourism.
Wow. Space tourism. That's pretty wild.
Right. So, looking at all this, what do you think the future of human flight looks like?
It's both exciting and a little scary, to be honest. From Da Vinci's sketches to the idea of hopping on a spaceflight, it makes you realize the sky really isn't the limit anymore.
It's an incredible journey we've been on, and it's only just getting started.
What a ride.